What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Hot Drop. Boom!
What's going on, everybody? It is your host, Grim Reaper, live from my studios down here in the graveyard tonight. And we're here with episode number 13 of The Hot Drop. Get ready to kick off BGE season number 5. So this is our intro to season 5. We'll cover groupings, who we think is going to be on top at the end of it, and everything that goes with it. And with me here tonight, we have the one and only Shaxito.
Hey, mi gente. Muchísimas gracias.
And K-Dub.
What's going on, guys?
Alrighty. Guys ready for season 5? We excited?
Yes, let's get it going. Man, I'm surprised it came by like that quick when I thought like, oh, maybe we're going to push it back a week and then boom, it's here on Thursday. Sheesh.
Yeah, we talked about briefly pushing it back because we were kind of light on a couple teams here towards the end, but then all of a sudden we got 24 and we're like good to go. Posted groupings and all that type of stuff, and then I get 4 more teams like, hey, you got room? Sorry, you're too late. So
Not to mention, if we would have put like SA teams too, we would have had 32 easy.
oh, definitely. We
Yeah.
would have hit the 32 mark,
Mhm.
but we kept it
SAE
all
or
NA.
whatever.
So 24
And-
NA teams, actually 28 NA teams realistically.
Mhm.
So I'll take
Yeah.
it. That's a win.
Yeah, for sure.
Not too many split squads, so it's 28 full NA teams. So it's great to see.
America.
There's one split squad. That's it. And we'll cover that because that's something we'll talk about here. But let's jump right in. We're going to start with Group Alpha.
Hey.
Group Alpha consists of Skyline Gaming, Vigorous, 20 Squad, Rico's Roughnecks, 9 Esports, Main Gaming, 4-Star Generals, and Rest in Peace. Let's start with K-Dub. What do you think of this group?
I think it's a pretty even group, especially the top 3 teams with Skyline, Vigorous, and 20 Squad. Those 3 teams, I think there's no real clear favorite. I actually think Skyline Gaming, because their core 4 hasn't been playing a whole lot together until very recently, coming out for all the big events. 20 Squad might actually have a little bit of an upper hand here, but they have a couple new faces too, as they are one of the mixed squads of SA and NA to get into that NA roster requirements. So they can't run the full SA team that which when they're super dominant, but they got a ton of firepower still. So I think they're going to compete with Skyline for that top spot in the Group A, but can't count Vig out, especially if Noxy plays every single day. If Noxy plays every day, they're going to be a force to reckon with.
I can see that. Chucks?
Yeah, I think this group, when we were originally covering these groups in the stream, I thought this group was stacked. I'm like, this group is the best group, like without a doubt, like until I heard the rest of the other groups, so I'm interested to see. But low key, I wouldn't be surprised if Vig comes out of this group. Vig's a team that I'm looking at as being a team that could possibly win this group, and that's no disrespect to 20 Squad, no disrespect to Skyline, reigning champions, all due respect to you guys, but Vig's been hot. And Vig's, maybe they haven't won every night or whatever, but they've been consistently in the top 3 or 4, or at least for the mini series, they're competing for the championship every week so far. So I wouldn't be surprised if Vig really takes this group and might do it by a considerable margin, depending on how they play. But again, if Noxy's in, they play better. So if they can get Noxy in there, shoot. And their comms, we've had some listen-ins with them. Their comms are phenomenal. Probably the best comms I've ever heard on any team. And I've watched a ton of VODs, and their comms are on point. And one of the teams that really people need to look out for out of this group, I would go with the 9 Esports. Like, that's going to be a team that nobody's heard of. Got some familiar faces on it, but Vision, he came from Torch, he came from a bunch of other different teams, but Vision, low key, he's a really good player, and if he can get the rest of the boys to fall in line, don't be surprised if that 9 Esports team really pushes these guys to the limits and possibly, I mean, they should make champs, but we'll see if they can really put themselves as a top half team. So I'm interested to watch them.
I agree. This group I think is a nice, well-rounded group. Skyline sitting at the top there. I don't think they will stay there. I mean, they have their ups and their downs. And like Shock said, they haven't been very consistent. I think K-Dub said that too. They've been very sporadic playing with us.
Yeah.
One season 4 fell off the face of the earth for a little bit. Have just started coming back, but even now coming back, they're still not playing with their solid core 4. They're rotating the 4th guy in and out here. So it'll be interesting to see if they've got everybody good for League or if they're still going to be rotating that 4th guy through, which can hurt them in the long run.
You know what's crazy about that? They had, like, when they fell off the face of the earth after season 4, Joey was playing every night. He was still putting in teams. He was the one guy, like, I'm still going to play. And, like, now that they're all playing, you don't see Joey playing with them every night. So I'm like, what is the one consistent piece? He hasn't been there every night, so it's
I've seen, yeah. And speaking of that, I mean, he's still playing, but I've seen him play with GT. Yep. I've seen him play with BHE. I've seen him play with a whole bunch of different people. It's not Skyline.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, we all know Joey's West Coast, but he's on the East Coast right now, so I'm not sure what's that. Maybe that's why we haven't seen him around here lately. But I know I was joking with him the other day because he said something. I'm like, welcome to East Coast Internet. He goes, no, welcome to hotel or motel internet. So I don't know if he's on vacation or what, but he's on the East Coast right now.
Skyline might be feeling a little too confident after their championship, and them taking a break and they're not working on cohesion. This could cost them. They might think they can come in here and just walk right into champs, and maybe that might be the case. But you only get 2 to 3 weeks to warm up for champs, and that's gonna hurt you because these other teams are playing every night together. So we'll see how it plays.
20 squad. I mean, my boys, but I'm a little iffy with them, with this team they got. They went out, they picked up Chrism, they picked up Tick. Good players.
Yeah.
Linka, Q have chemistry with Chrism and Tick when they played with the mates. So they've got the knowledge kind of each other and all that. But with the rest of the team, not so much. So it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. I expect them to make it out of this group in the champs, but I don't know if I'm going to put them in that top spot. They're going to have to prove it to me right now.
Yeah, and speaking with all that cohesion issues, I think that's what like Noxie brings to Vigorous.
Yeah.
When there's a clear difference between how that team performs when Noxie is in the lineup and when Noxie's out of the lineup.
Yep.
So,
agree.
Honestly, you got, I guess, when you put it all together, you got 3 teams that are little Jekyll and Hyde based on cohesion. And maybe it does allow one of these other teams on this list to sneak up there and maybe surprise these guys.
Rico's Roughnecks,
yeah,
I think can be possibly that team. Now, they had Bliv, they lost Bliv, and I thought they were doing very well when they had Bliv.
Yes.
I mean, they won a tournament when they had Bliv. Granted, Bliv was in the roster. Tragic was not playing that night, but they were still doing good when they were all playing. Bliv is gone now, and then today they went out and they added Binny and they added Jolly. Still 2 good pickups there, but they haven't played together. So the chemistry there, once again, we're talking chemistry. Those guys haven't played with them. I think Jolly just played with Tragic tonight in the tournament that just finished here.
And they're good vibes too. Those are really good vibe people. So
So
Great vibes, very timid players. They like to fill out what their role is. So they might be a little slow starting as well. So
and Group A plays both nights this week.
Man,
So
Bliv though. I mean, you get Bliv, man. Bliv is, God bless. I love Bliv. I think he's a great player, but my God, he is borrowed time. You know what I mean? He only can last so long on a team, and it's unfortunate, that they lose him because they were getting like top three couple nights, and they're competing, and it's just unfortunate, man. They. I don't know if it's him. I don't know. I seen the VOD, so I know what happened, but. Yeah, that was very toxic. I'll tell you that much.
And I mean, Shakshi pointed out 9 esports, up and coming team. You've got where are they here on my list? Vision, Tremis, Govers, K-Dash, Charm, Silix. I don't know all those names. I know some of the names, but they've been doing somewhat decent. In the tournaments they play, so
they haven't been a pushover at all.
No, they can hold their own. They haven't won, but they can hold their own in fights and all that. So
they're losing some 3 downs on both sides, and that last guy gets, and then the other team gets all the revives type of stuff. It's not just a 4-0 sweep easy.
No. So they could definitely be a sleeper in that group. Main Gaming, it's a Main Gaming so strong mashup here with this group, so it's not a bad team to look at either. Acidburn, Ernster, Scott, Snowgun, Moose Knuckles, Geechee, and Mercs. On paper, that's not a bad team. They can all work together and all that, but
I need reps out of that team.
I was going to say that's another. I mean, Knuckles, Geechee, and Mercs. I've never seen them play with anybody from Main Gaming, so that's going to be a cohesion issue there also. 4-star generals.
Jeez, Grim, we're gonna go through every team.
I'm running. I'm running the end here quick.
Okay,
4-star generals.
B's and C's.
Not a bad team, but they're very inconsistent. So we'll see what they can do. And rest in peace. Newer to us, they can hold their own when they play in our tournaments. So I think they're going to be a good team also in that group. Moving on, Group Bravo. We've got Kinetic 7, Console Killers, Crazy Mob, Properly Tucked, Syntax, Team Lethal, Elevate, and Energy.
Woo. Woo.
Talk about a sweaty group. A toxic group.
Yes. I think this group right here is absolutely stacked. Do you want to talk about it's Murderer's Row? Like, that's their nickname. It's literally every team on there is deadly. Like, because you would think when we were doing kind of like the power rankings for some of these teams, like we would think of a team like Elevate. We're like, we don't know who they are. All they got is Eliminator. Then they come through with like who they have, the Bougie and some of the other guys. Like, they have some decent talent. Be More, they got decent talent on that roster. That's not a slouch team
either.
No shot. So we didn't know what they were going to be because all we seen was Eliminator.
Eliminator, Be More, Bougie, Branskeet, and Dougie Fresh.
Yeah.
On paper, that's a good team.
It's a good team. Is it the best team in the world? We'll find out. But, I would still say K7's coming out of that group as the powerhouse, as the heavy favorite. Most people would say that. But we talk about it all the time. K7, they're sprinters. K7 is a sprinter team. They are not a marathon team. From previous experiences, they do not do well in leagues. They only do good in dailies, quick little 2-3 day events. They fall off the face of the earth when it's something longer than 3 days, So
agreed.
I think
they even
last season they got
bit.
6th or something. Like, that's not
unheard of
for them. Yeah.
They even struggle a little bit in the mini series on top of it. Like, they're one of the teams that constantly only make it 2 days, 2 days, because that's roughly where they hit.
They gas out.
So
the trolling catches up to them.
It does.
And I always talk about like Dubhub as a comparison. I'm like, Dubhub maybe's not getting a chicken dinner every game. This is no love to K-Dub, but they're not getting a chicken dinner maybe every game, but they're top five. And at the end of a whole season, they're sitting in first, second, third place because they're just being consistent the whole time. So that's
Yep.
the difference between them and a K7 team that plays aggressive and sometimes go out in 15th place, you know?
Yep. Um,
But that's a stacked lineup. Console
this is a
killers, sheesh.
stack group. I mean, CK can pull out of this group easily. Crazy Mob, they've got Ratatat
Yeah, they do. And aim.
and Aimteak, so that team right there could pull out of this easily. Properly tucked.
They were killing it in season 4.
They were killing it in
They
season
killed
4,
it in quals,
Yeah.
not so much in finals.
but properly tucked, I think, is going to be a little. I think that's going to be my lackluster team.
Yeah, they're gonna lose Arctic, right?
They're losing Arctic in 1 week. He leaves for basic training for the military.
Who's maybe, arguably, in my opinion, the best player on that team.
Agreed. So,
Maybe
if,
Zach. I don't know.
I mean, Zach is there too, but I think Arctic holds that team together, and without Arctic,
He
I
does
think
all
they
the
may
dirty
struggle
plays.
a bit.
I actually think you're like, he is their best player. He is their top fragger.
Yeah.
They do kind of go when he goes, but if you watch their overall performances with this particular player when he is and is not in the lineup, it's night and day. And Arctic is there for both of it, and that is the backwoods. If he is not playing, that team does not go. He is the heart and soul. He is the glue. He is the play.
Hard hat.
He
lunch
is the
pail.
play call. Yes, he makes that team go.
Does all the dirty plays. I always say he's a slime ball because he's out the window, around the corner, back on the other side, out through the other window. He's that guy. It just does stuff, you know? And it's like, dude, can we just go over the hill and shoot each other? Like,
Yeah, that's what Arctic brings to you. But the guy that keeps them steady and gets them making doing smart plays, doing the right things is the backwoods.
The backwoods.
And
Underrated.
and super underrated. And he was so underrated. He wasn't even on my radar for that type of player until I seen how good this team was and how bad this team is whenever
He's not there.
he's not there. Like, and Arctic's still getting his kills, but they're nowhere near the top. So, that has something to say.
I agree.
Syntax. I mean, Syntax has been popping off here. They've been consistent. They've won some tournaments here.
They've been a pleasant surprise.
They have been a very pleasant surprise. Top 5 team, I'd say almost every night recently. They have their off night here and there, but they're good there. Team Lethal, a little newer to us here. I believe they are a Latin Am team. I think they're from Mexico, spread out
Nice.
around Mexico and that.
Bienvenidos.
So I believe, don't quote me on that 100%, but I believe so. So they can hold their own from what I've seen from them. Elevate, we already talked about them. Nice throw together team there. Chemistry, I think, is going to hurt them a little bit there. They haven't played together.
Yeah.
Even
true.
leading up into this, I haven't seen them sign up in tournaments or anything together. Like, Beemore still playing with BHE or them. So we'll see how that works out for them. And Energy, we know Energy. Energy has pulled out some smaller chicken dinners, like a 2-kill chicken dinner or something like that. So they can do
They
it.
let the game come to them.
Right. They're very slow. You come to me, I'm not coming to find you type
K-Dub,
team.
Who's winning this group right here?
It's a 2-dog race for me. It's Kinetic 7 and Console Killers. The rest of the grouping isn't even going to be close.
The mob with Ratatat? Gotatat?
I am going to be in the minority when you say this. I know how high you guys hold Ratatat and in this community and where he's at. But I actually think Crazy Mob's a better team without Ratatat playing.
What? No shot.
I think
heard that right here.
I think their cohesion and the way they play the game suits them. I think they try to do too much when Rat's in there. And I mean, that can change over some time, the more reps he gets, but Rat's a weekend gamer.
I think
So
Rat should have just filled right in there because they're an aggressive team. He's an aggressive player, and it should have just worked out better. I just think the only issue
should have.
they might be having is like, how do you IGL Rat when Rat's one of the better players, and you kind of be like, hey, go over there and you know what I mean? Like you gotta earn that respect, or maybe I don't know. They don't want to step on each other's toes like you see in All-Star games
100%.
in basketball, and they just keep passing the ball to each other instead of like go in there and dunk it, dude. Like what are you guys doing?
I understand. He's a great player. He does great things, and on theoretically, yes, he should definitely be making this team better, and he probably will over time. But I have yet to see that from them with him in the lineup, other than maybe a couple EU tournaments. The NA stuff, they were on fire without Rat. As soon as Aimteak joined them, they were on fire, and I haven't seen that type of play yet from this team since Rat has joined.
Yeah, I think they won 6 o'clock or something since he's been on the team. That's like weeks.
Shocks, you and I mentioned this one tournament. I don't remember which tournament it was, but Crazy Mob's playstyle changed that day, it seemed like.
Yeah.
Instead of they were an edge playing team.
Yeah.
And it was kind of working for them because we even said this might be their new play style. They were playing edge, they're getting kills and third party and stuff like that instead of going center zone and all that.
And it worked.
And then the next day they went back to their old style and it wasn't there. So it was like, all right, like I think they're still trying to work out and I want to say find their identity, even though like we know what the mob is.
Yeah.
But with these new players here, they're still trying to figure some stuff out, it seems like. So
listen, I'm gonna go ahead.
I was gonna say I kind of agree. It's gonna be a CK K7 race in this lobby, and then the third spot I think is gonna be up for grabs.
Yeah, I mean Syntax properly took Crazy now, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm just gonna say CK is gonna win this outright. They're gonna beat that group, and I'm bringing down K7, who's probably one of, if not the best team on most nights. You would say K7. If we were power ranking teams, they're probably number one in the power rankings. But I'm going to say Console Killers are going to come out of Group B, and they're going to be the leading team in that one because they're just solid. They've been consistent, and I've seen it, 3 mini-series in a row? Just like I say, K7's more like a sprinter. Well, this is showing to be more of a marathon team, and they were 4th place last season. They've only built on that within the last couple of weeks. So I think CK, low-key, is going to be the top dog in Group B, I think.
I can't disagree with you. I love what CK has been doing. And K7, like you said, on a daily night, you can pick them to win almost any night and be right.
Yep.
And they are that team. But like you said, this is not a sprint. It's not a five games and you're done. So, and they've proven. They burnt you last year. You rode them all the way.
Season.
All the way. You're like, I'm not giving up on them. And they just couldn't do it.
Can't take anything serious, period. So that's a problem.
It's almost like they get bored and they start trolling a little too much. And then it catches up to them because then they put themselves in a deficit in that.
Yep.
All right.
They're going to have a great regular season, I'll tell you that much, but that's about it.
Moving on. Group Charlie. We've got the Dub Hub. We have Unprofessional Gaming Team. We have Team Impulse, Winner Circle, Phase 9, Gemini Esports, The Bunker, and One Up Crew. This group here, in my opinion, I think is the most evenly distributed group out of all of them. I mean, everybody said, oh, that's a weak group. It's going to be this and this. But I want to say most of these teams are almost on a level playing field to a point.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I got like all the mods in that group. I got Grimm's team with GT, Dub Hub. I got Red Eyes group. That is the weakest group. And it ain't even close.
Wow.
And it ain't even close. I mean, you got the Dub Hub, which is a powerhouse. GT's been playing well, but
GT doesn't have a roster.
That is the weakest group.
I'm not even counting GT right now.
It's like,
No. Do you know who Team Impulse is before you even say that?
yeah, that's like the
You
other
know,
torch.
like-
That's like the torch team. But you know how I've always
Yeah.
felt about the torch team. So
And then you see who's playing with WC.
I do, Lil Kid in a hat. But when has WC done anything lately? Even with Lil Kid, nothing.
I mean, they've only
Zero.
played a few, like 4 days with him.
The group
Like,
is,
I don't know.
it's not good.
I think this group might maybe overall be weaker at the top. After Dub Hub, there's not really that team, but I think throughout top to bottom, they're stronger than both of the other groups.
Like, look at the other groups. We're all like, man, this like group A.
Do
group
not underestimate that one up crew.
You can have like 3, 4, 5 teams that you could be like, man, you know what? I could see Syntax pushing somebody. I could see the Vig taking a. This one's like Dubhub's gonna win this group. You know,
Hands down, I agree
and
with
then
you.
there's like
Of course
nothing
I am.
else. There's just like maybe that new team, the new Torch team, Team Instinct, maybe GT. If like these are like far fetched maybes, you know, where it's like it's not really believable. You know, it's a possibility, but it's not like yeah. I could
One-up
see
crew.
that.
That one up crew
It's good.
is banging out in other tournaments against these other top squads.
I haven't seen it.
Just want to point
the times that we've
you know,
seen
if you're
them.
watching, they're banging out. They
Yeah.
finished. I mean, in the MG Weekly, they came in and smacked up almost everybody except for Dub Hub. They finished, I think, second or third that week, knocking
Well,
out PT,
let's be
knocking out
honest
GT, knocking out a bunch of teams.
A lot of the good teams the past, you know, haven't been there. it's you know, that has not been stacked lobbies.
I would say the first 3 weeks were pretty stacked.
Yeah, and then after
Week
that,
4 and week 5, not so much. Yeah,
yeah,
but
and that's good for them.
They're
They're
still
bringing in
beating
new
up-
teams, but they're not taking out
they're,
the case.
they're still beating up a few. They're beating up a few comp teams that are in these other brackets. So, and that TI team with that Team Impulse has Lazar,
That team's a
Mick, Wabaku, and Tyrannical.
Like,
And
how many
They're
tournaments
top
have those guys played in the past 6 months?
Well, they just won tonight.
Sporadic as hell. All of them. Like Lazar could go away for 3 months. You got
That's true.
Tyrannical that could go away for 3 months. Mick would rather go play football than to play PUBG.
Soccer,
You know, like,
soccer, or
Hockey.
hockey. Sorry,
Hockey,
hockey.
whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that team,
Not
you know,
wrong.
Wabaku's solid, but Wabaku doesn't play every night either.
He wants to, I think, in a way.
Hopefully.
I mean,
I thought he was.
played with,
I think he's
he
badass.
played with GT last week and won
I think
the
they're
miniseries
all
with him.
badass, really good players. But
But yeah, I agree. I think going into this before this weekend came through, my money was gonna be like a Double Hub GT type
same.
race towards the top there. But GT just had some misfortunes right there, and yeah, it's gonna be a tough group. I think after Dub Hub, anybody else's team there is going to be a very. I think this is going to be the most tightest group when it comes to points. Not many points, I think, are going to separate these teams.
I wanted to ask K-Dub. Obviously, Dub Hub's my favorite to win that group, but what's the boat situation since you're the dog?
The boat situation, no boat, no problem. Remember that.
Yeah, that's what I say. That's my slogan.
Yeah, like
Good
we've
soup in
already
that
proven up and down. Like it doesn't matter who's in our lineup. We are going to be consistent regardless.
Space Havoc, IGL,
Yeah, as long as space is there, given those smooth calms and chill vibes, it doesn't matter who's in that lineup. And when we win, whether it's Cheech, whether it's Boat, whoever's in the lineup, it don't matter. But the Boat situation, he is going away for work, and he could be gone for 2 to 4 weeks. So he won't be gone for the entire season 5. We just don't know how much we will have him. We have him for at least the last 2 weeks of finals, I believe.
Nice. No, that's awesome. And
So,
based on how way that the grouping
that's
went,
worst
too,
case.
it was cool that like Grim was saying earlier when we were playing that you guys get the last week is your double day, so you might get lucky and have him for that.
Yeah. He's supposed to be leaving any day now, so yeah, we might get him back for that. If not, it is what it is. We'll carry him on the roster and prepare for finals.
Grim, who in that group is gonna challenge DubHub?
I think it's going to be Impulse.
Lazar-led team, you can't slouch on him. The guy can, like you said, can be gone for 3 weeks.
Yeah,
he comes back and he was leading GT.
Awesome
I watched, he just knows how to play this game, and it doesn't matter how long he's gone. He just comes back and knows how to do it. So,
give him a day to warm up leading into it, and he's good to go.
Hey, low key though, I like the bunker. This might be laughable. I like the bunker. They're that team. They've gotten like a couple of chicken dinners. Like they've been getting chicken dinners lately, like 4 kills and a dub, and they just been solid, like mid-tier team. Like they've been like that 6th, 7th, 8th place team. They've been doing really good. So I don't know, man. Maybe they're getting it together. I'd like to see them make some noise and clinch a champ spot. I want to see them get there.
Gemini, I think, is going to be in a little bit of trouble. Sorry, Red Eye. I put it out there. They lost. Where is he?
It was either Diplomacy or
Ignite. They lost Ignite. He left GE. He joined P9. So that right there is a huge loss for them.
In their
I
same
feel like
group too. Sheesh.
They picked up RTK, little 11, 12-year-old beamer, so good.
RTK's a beast. He's just annoying sometimes from what I hear.
Yes.
He's young.
Yep. They got Musty, Solar, Red Eye, and they picked up Kids TTV.
Shout out Kids.
So Kids won't be in the booth with us on some nights. But that team there is going to be a little rough, and I know they're talking to a couple other people to fill out their roster. One could be a good surprise, and we kind of talked about this in our admin chat. It'd be a huge pickup for them, and it would help them a lot. I'm not going to spoil it just because no confirmation out there, but if they can get it, they they could pop up there easily. Have a chance.
Who's picking up Oblivion? Because that's there, right?
Oblivion's out there. No one's rostered him yet.
I don't care what type of hole you are in. And when it comes to a league setting, I do not know how you can trust putting Bliv on your roster. I don't see it. He has yet to finish a season in BGE.
You're wrong.
On any roster, even the ones he's created. No, it is true. He didn't finish last season on Crazy Mob. The year before, he didn't finish on XG. The year before that, he didn't finish on Crazy Mob. He has not finished a season in a heartbeat. And I don't get it.
He lets his passion get the better of him, is what it is.
We'll call that passion. Yeah, we'll call it passion. Just because I don't like it. Yeah, passion.
Yeah. We'll go with that.
Be nice. Be nice.
I want to be nice. It just, I've even considered giving him a chance, and I can't. He doesn't make it. He has a less of a lifespan than Laz when it comes to league rosters. So what can you do?
Yeah, I mean, imagine winning a mini series and then leaving a team the next day.
2 days.
Right.
2 days later. 2 days later.
Sheesh.
Right, and that's what it's like with Bliv on a league roster. Every roster, they do pretty good. And he just loses his mind. I don't know why.
Could do better. We could do better. You guys aren't. Never mind.
That's a great mentality, but it's a great mentality. But how you got to be able to move past it and enact it.
Yes,
I agree.
All right, moving on. Your projected MVP for qualifiers.
Oof.
Shocks.
Oof. My MVP for qualifiers. Golly.
I mean, we're missing a couple rosters.
Yeah. I
Impulse-
kind of got an idea of who's on everybody's teams and stuff like that. But, I low-key want to say Noxie, but I don't think he's going to play enough. But I think he's a freaking beast. I'm going to go out on a limb, even though sometimes he could be trolling and be a little jerk-off sometimes. But give me some TT aimbot. I just think he's a smart player. He's just so smart. So, when he's not trolling and he's locked in, like, kid's a freaking animal. So, give me aimbot. And that's like, who would say that? Me. So, we'll see.
Okay. K-Dub?
I'm glad he didn't say it because I've had Noxie locked in as mine. He has to be the MVP.
Yeah.
He is the one guy on that roster that, out of almost all the teams, if he doesn't play well, Vig doesn't play well. He has to be an MVP for them to compete. So, Noxie's my guy.
I'm going to go out on a limb, I think, a little further than Shocks. I'm going to say Wabaku.
Oh, well, that's like, whew. Grim. You feeling okay?
Yeah. I got to take that chance every once in a while. And I've watched Wabaku.
He's good.
This past week. He played with GT for the last 2 weeks, and he was very good. They won this last mini series. His knowledge and chemistry, he's a little slow player, but it fit well. He can get the kills. He can snake his way when he needs to. So I think I'm
you need to get a lot of kills to be MVP, Grim.
No. Yes. But there's on paper, yes, there's that MVP, but you always have your unsung MVPs too.
Grim, who was IGL for that team that won that? Who was IGL? Was that Laz?
Laz.
Yes. Because Pro did not play one game that entire miniseries. That was all Laz.
All right. And I like your pick then because if Laz is playing for Impulse, Wabaku is going to be fragging out. Yep. So I can get down with that pick.
You know what I should have said? I should have said Maddie, low key. Maddie's like always underrated. Season 4 MVP, regular season, like he just gets down. So I mean, shout out Maddie. Even though Maddie's toxic in the Discord, but
yep.
Shout out Maddie.
When Wabaku told the team that he was leaving to go play with his boys, Laz even made the comment, well, GG's, I'm leaving too. And we all thought he was joking. And then 2 days later, he's gone and he's with Wabaku. So, yeah, a little insider knowledge, I guess I could say on that one. But, yeah, I'm going to go with Wabaku just from the last 2 weeks of performance with him and Laz together. They worked very well together. So, I have a feeling that will continue over, which... That's why I also said Team Impulse could be that team to challenge Dub Hub in Group C.
Yep. MVP Pro. Psych.
Alrighty. All right, we covered who we think our top MVP is going to be. Who are our top 5 coming out of quals?
Oh, God. That's a tough one.
This is really tough, actually.
Top 5 teams coming out of quals?
Yes.
K7, Skyline, Console Killers, Dub Hub, Vig. Boom. You heard it here first.
7, Console Killers, Skyline, Vigorous, Dub Hub. Okay.
All right, yeah. My guys? I'm going with Vig, K7, Console Killers, the Dub Hub, and Team Impulse.
No K7?
I did say.
Who'd you say?
Didn't I say K7?
He
I
didn't
said
say
Vig.
He didn't say Skyline.
Wow.
He said Skyline.
The
He did not say
disrespect to
Skyline.
the reigning
The
defending.
reigning. They're going to be close. They're going to be close. But
A team that like just started playing 2 days ago together, and then another team that's been playing for years. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, K-Dub.
they've been playing like they've been only playing for 2
Skyline,
days. So,
if
I
you're
mean,
watching this, you should be feeling very disrespected right now.
All the disrespect.
I will go with Console Killers, Vig, K7, Team Impulse, Dubhub, I guess. I think I gotta agree with K-Dub on this one.
Now, you guys are high on that new team. Woo-wee! Imagine.
I like the Laz Wabaku dynamic, and then you're gonna throw the Canadian Crusher Mick in there. Like I don't want anything to do with that team.
Yeah.
You're going the other way when you see that team coming.
It's a stacked team. I give them that. I like the team. That is just.
I'm curious to see who else they're gonna.
They haven't proven anything yet.
That's only 5 people. They have 2 more spots. So I'm curious to see the other 2 people they put on that team. I have an idea who maybe one of them are, only because I was in a party with them the other night, answering a couple questions for them. But we'll see. Alrighty. 2 more topics here. What are we looking forward to in this coming season? What's our highs, our lows? Like, what are we looking to get out of this one?
I mean, I'm hoping, like, we've been blessed. That's all I got to say, because our seasons are, like, never blowouts. You know, we always go down to the last day, whether we're watching that race for first place or that race for second, third, fourth. Like, it's always so tight, and we're, like, counting up points in the last games. Like, I love that. So if we can continue to do that and not have a blowout, which I think this season's probably the most competitive season in terms of, like, there is no clear-cut team that's going to be the V2 runaway team or something, or the mate runaway team where they're standalone better than everybody. Like, I don't see it right now. So I want to see who's going to come out and become the new face. So
I mean, you just good point. And this is the first time I'm actually thinking about this. First BGE league without V2 roster, Quay, Sparky, Kid, Rat together.
Mm-hmm.
This is a season where, I mean, every league they've always played together. It's the first one without them. So I'm looking for, I guess, yes, I'm looking forward to the tightness of what I feel is going to come out of this, and just the mini series we've been running up to this, these teams have been participating in. And even those, we've had some great gunfights, some great action.
Different winner every day, every time.
Yep, we haven't had a duplicated mini series winner yet. So I'm just looking for the excitement of it all, the thrill, and just anybody can win on any given day at this moment, it seems like. Because K7 has been proven that they can be killed early sometimes.
I personally am looking forward to one of these mid-tier teams taking the step to really start challenging the overall top 5 NA teams. We're seeing a lot of different events be taking on in our community from other organizations. You're seeing a lot of activity from new players. Like you even said, it could have stemmed from this. It could have not stemmed from it. But we have a lot of newer teams joining this time around, even with the 4 on the wait list. But I'm looking forward one of these new or mid-tier teams taking that step and really, really pushing these top teams. And I want to see how they challenge them, because there's not a lot of play. There's not a lot of tape on these guys. So how are they going to challenge these perennial winners?
Or where are they going to drop?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Not just drop, just overall. How do they take the gunfights? Where do they like to play and rotate and all that stuff? How are they going to challenge and make I'm looking forward to how they're going to make these top teams uncomfortable.
An example, like, we know, like, a team likes to sit on top of Cloud9, right? What if this other team likes to play in the woods to the south, which generally is a good rotation spot from, like, 12 pack to that Cloud 9. People like to take that southern route. Well, what if
Yep.
they sit there? You know what I mean? They just interrupt the
Mhm.
normal flow. So I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see what these guys, not your everyday mid tier teams, like you know what they're going to do, you know where they're going to rotate to, but these newer teams that don't get a lot of play time, I'm really interested because I think there's some talent on some of them. So
Yep.
I agree. To your point there, and we saw it this weekend a little bit in the tournaments we ran. Like Team Impulse and Nine Esports, they're in different groups, but when they battle each other, they both were dropping school apartments,
Mm-hmm.
and both were dropping San Martin on Miramar. Both came from Torch. Vision played with Torch, like the drops.
Mhm.
Team Impulse,
all torch.
all Torch. So they want that drop too. So they've been fighting for it all weekend, and I even made the comment saying they're fighting for league right now. They're trying to establish this is our spot for league. Back off.
And it was like 50-50.
Yeah,
No one team was dominating another team out of it.
Nope.
Mm.
Nope. So it was a good weekend to see some of these teams like start to make their established. See some of these newer teams like this is where we drop. One Up's been playing a little bit more this past weekend, like getting the feel of where teams go and stuff like that. So it's been good to see them kicking around here. So,
Mhm.
But a team like Elevate, I'd be interested to see where they're going to go because they haven't played, and that's a mixed roster there. I mean, so I agree. Some of these mid teams could be some good spoilers here, and that will definitely be exciting to watch.
Love it.
Alrighty, last topic. Pick to win it all.
Oof.
Early
J-Dub,
prediction.
You go first. I want to know what you're gonna say.
Who's going to be the champion at the end of season 5?
Me? You want me to go first?
Yeah, I want to hear what you're gonna say.
You know I don't do this.
Yeah, well, let me hear it. Let me hear it.
You know I don't do this, and I have to. I have to be a homer here. I honestly I have not felt this good about where my team is and how my roster is comprised. We've always had issues going into the season, finding a fourth, doing all this stuff. You know, like, and I know Boat's not going to be there for some weeks, but like over the last month and a half, my team has played so well, and I honestly feel like that this is their season. I really do.
I'm kind of feeling that too. I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised they finally get that, that
Mhm.
championship. And honestly,
Yep.
if we're talking about like 2-3 days ago, or 3-4 days ago, Grim would be rolling in here saying GT2. Like both of you guys would be homers right now. Like, yeah, because that team looked good in the mini league.
That team did look
Woo.
really good in the league.
Really good. Anyways, Grim, you go, Grim. You go, Grim. I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to fill the room.
I'm going to go with my little sleeper team here that I've been kind of little high on here today. Team Impulse.
Sheesh, Grim.
That's all you got to say about it?
It's.
I mean, we've
enough said?
enough
We've been
said. I
covering
mean,
it. We know what
we've
they are
been
now.
covering it. Laz, Wabaku, with the rest of them, I think that's going to be they're going to be a contender, I feel. So I'm going to go Impulse. I'm going to make the Impulse and go Impulse.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I'm like torn because obviously nobody's gonna say K7. Like, what the hell, But I'm torn because I don't think K7. So it's like how dare we? But I'm like torn between Console Killers, Vig, and Skyline. Like is Skyline gonna go back to back defending? Vig, I don't know why. I just feel something about Vig for whatever reason, and they just always kind of, even in the miniseries, I'm always kind of pulling for them. Then they fail me, and they don't win the whole thing. But They like always have like just these bad games. Good start, bad game, bad ending. You know. So I don't know. CK's just been solid. But then like I feel the Dub Hub. You know, I feel it in deep in my soul. You know. So I'm just like, God damn it! Like it could be anybody.
Pick one.
If I had to pick,
I need you on the books.
if I had
We
to
need-
pick right now, it's gonna sound crazy even coming out of my. I'm gonna go with the console killers, and it sounds ludicrous to me to even say it out loud. Like, what the hell am I doing? But it was either honestly it's them or the Dub Hub in my head. But like, you know, Dub Hub's gonna play smarter than CK can. But if it was like a 4v4, like I'll take console killers guns in a straight up 4v4 coming over a hill.
Oh.
I go with CK. But if it's like PUBG, that's not PUBG though. PUBG's rotation, PUBG's zone, it's positioning, it's all that other stuff, and that's where DubHub takes the edge to me. I think they're the best rotating team, best util team. I always throw that stuff out there, but I don't know. Raw talent, I'm gonna go with CK. Give it to me. Let's go.
So CK for Shocks, DubHub for KDub, and Impulse for me.
I apologize.
I
I
could
am
flip.
usually not a homer, but like I feel this one. Like
yeah,
I do.
I feel that too. It feels good. I feel in that one too. Ugh.
We know that I am my team's biggest
Critic.
I'm their biggest fan and I'm their biggest critic. And like
We played bad. Like,
Yeah.
he'll be the first one to say it.
I know. And I just I don't know.
Especially
I
it
just
sounds weird for you to say it with them not having boat. You know what I mean? Like, holy.
it just like the team just feels
I
different.
feel like they've been
and
just playing good even without him, though. That's why it's like,
Yeah, exactly. It's like no boat, no problem.
And
And
this-
when he's there, it's like, uh-oh.
you know what's
like,
crazy? There's a roster that you guys roll out with where it's like Space Havoc. Who even cares who the other guy is? Soup and Boat, for whatever reason. That weird little roster I seen come out, like that team right there.
we rolled a roster out that one.
roster right there, I don't know. Boat and Soup as a tandem, like they kind of do the same role when they're out there, and it just works. I don't know.
We
like
rolled
that
out a little roster that won us a tournament with Space, Triple OG, a new guy that's on our roster as a sub,
Yeah,
Car Shot, and Ice at Nasty.
yeah.
And you wouldn't think like
No.
we know how but they
they
just
did.
didn't win. They dominated and
Yeah.
they made and they just like bullied the lobby.
Yep. I don't know, man.
So-
That's what I'm saying. It's just this season's like anybody could win. Like it's just crazy.
Mhm.
Well, sometimes you get those random people like that, like a Triple OG or a Car Shot, where
They
doesn't
put a
really
lot-
They're
play
just
with your
happy to be
team.
there. They got
It
energy.
changes your team ever so slightly.
We
And-
play a lot with OG though. We play a lot with him during EU tournaments
Yep.
and stuff like that. My NA guys like to play.
Well, no, I get that, but I just meant from an NA standpoint, that changes the mindset just a little bit, and
Mhm.
it throws people off their game.
Yep.
Yep.
But you speak of Triple OG, I think that was a very good pickup for WC.
Yeah.
Ooh wee. Yeah, I know. The asshole killed me today. Jerk.
Yep, Kofry, Kidzo, Triple, OG, Unfazed Light, Lob, and Jair, as I like to say.
That's a
That's
good
not
team,
a-
but I just
that's
don't
not a
see
bad
it playing well. I don't
No.
see it. I don't think that's even going to be like a top half team. You know?
You're not. So
The
are you?
Talent is there. The talent is there. I don't think they are going to like Kofry is going to be able to hold that
Yeah.
together long enough to make it worth.
Maybe they
Or-
do make champs, but they're not going to be in the top 10, I don't think, if
Okay.
in champs.
I was about to say, I'm like, wait, did Shocks just say WC isn't gonna make champs? Is that what I heard?
I mean,
Hmm?
honestly, I mean, it could be close. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't.
Okay.
How about
I'd be
that?
surprised. I'd be surprised if they don't.
I mean,
There's too much
Can you
talent
name
there not to get
8
there.
teams that are worse than them, maybe, right? But like, I wouldn't be surprised they
Maybe.
get pooped on. You know?
Maybe. I mean, I think. I don't know what GT is going to look like roster wise.
I don't even know what GT is gonna look like.
But I actually see, like, I see WC coming out of that group. I see the One Up crew coming out of there, Team Impulse, and the Dub Hub, and maybe even I see at least 5 teams coming out of that group.
That's the one thing that WC I think got going for them is, like I said, the group's not too strong.
So just so everybody knows, top 3 from each group move on, and then the next 7 highest seeded teams will be moving on.
And remember what happened last season.
Everybody made it.
How strong Group A was. Remember that. Group A was absolutely stacked. And I think Dub Hub ended up 5th. And they were the number one. They were, yeah, but like all but one team made it out of Alpha last time. So
I think it's a little bit more spread out this time to where you're not going to see.
Last time it
almost
was randomly
all of one
generated too.
Yes.
This
yes. Last time it was randomly. This one we put a little bit of thought into when we handpicked the groups this time. Just like, all right, here's our top 3 teams. Case or Skyline got the top just because defending champs. Who's the next highest team? K7, and then who's the next highest team? Dub Hub's been performing. They're consistent. All right, there's your group leaders, and then we filled everybody else in after that.
Yep.
So I can't wait. But I think that's going to draw us to a close tonight or today or whenever you watch this.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching episode number 13 of The Hot Drop.